I'm HamsterBomb.
And I'm Timothy.
And you guys are back for another episode of Pokedex Paradox, the series where we go through the Pokedex and basically pick out some really ridiculous entries and try to science them.
It's so much fun.
It is fun indeed. And this time, we've got a nice little trio, a menagerie. We're mainly going to be looking at sound and how intense certain sound waves come from a very particular Pokemon. We wanted to look at Exploud. But the thing is, we didn't want to just talk about Exploud because let's not forget his little baby forms, Whismur and Loudred. We're going to briefly talk about them and say like how intense their cries really would be, and then we'll get higher and higher.
I was so excited to learn about his decibels because I really love Exploud.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but I really love Exploud.
Yeah, probably one of your favorite Hoenn Pokemon, right?
Yeah, it's really up there pretty high.
You know, it's funny because she's been off and on playing Ruby for years and she's still not quite beaten it. And what's really funny...
Not Oris, Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby. Well, Ruby. I wanted you to play Ruby at the time, actually. But so, anyway, I fired it on the other day to check, and her whole team is fully evolved, except you have a Loudred, who is like 1,000 XP from turning into Exploud. You never got it, and you love Exploud so much. But anyway.
I love Exploud.
So I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, so first we want to talk about Whismur and some really weird stuff about how loud Whismur is, because even Whismur, it's supposed to be just the crying little sad. I would expect like a whimpering.
The thing about Whismur is it is whimper, and it says it in this dex entry that it's normally very, very quiet.
Its name comes from whisper. I would think it would be quiet
until it gets scared and upset.
Oh, okay.
And read the dex entry.
All right,
Let's go for the dex
this
entry.
time I'm gonna get dex
We're
entries.
gonna start with
Kim's gonna get you
wonderful
some science.
Whismur.
I'm gonna read this one from Ruby. Normally, Whismur's voice is very quiet. It is barely audible even if one is paying close attention. However, if this Pokemon senses danger, it starts crying at an ear-splitting volume. So we got specific of like what is ear splitting because that doesn't give you decibels. But if we move on a little bit farther, they did to give us something that helps
even a little bit more substantial than
a little
that.
bit better.
Ear splitting is gives you a pretty good range.
It's a range, yeah. But I'm gonna jump up to Emerald. Its cries equal a jet plane in volume. It inhales through its ear canals. Because of the system, it can cry continually without having to catch its breath. Weird. But anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to finish it because it cries equal to a jet plane, and this keeps showing up. This is in Diamond and Pearl. This is in Heart Gold. And I'm pretty sure it's in some other ones too about the jet plane thing. It's in Y. So it's a thing.
So wonderfully, we have jet planes,
and we know exactly how many decibels a jet plane is.
And that is 150 decibels. Which, get this, is right when your ears rupture.
Wow, what do you know? They actually did their research. Or that was just a coincidence. Because I mean, okay, hold on. If we're at the baby stage and already if you hear it scream, you are deaf permanently.
Yes.
Permanently deaf.
It ruptures your ear.
And this is just Whismur. And it's getting louder. Well, assumed, because as far as the Pokedex goes, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, they mentioned something, because I honestly thought we were going to do the Exploud episode, and we were going to find out that it says, like, it can scream at about 40 decibels, and they didn't look up, like, what a decibel is, and we'd be like, we'd have a whole episode, everything louder than Exploud.
No, that would be
a human.
That would be the... You're not special!
You're not special. Yeah, we're thinking about having a whole episode coming later called You're Not Special of Pokemon that don't really deserve their whole episode of Pokedex Paradox, but they have some hilarious entries. We'll get into them later. So anyway, Whismur, that's incredibly loud.
Whismur, it gets scared, your eardrums are gone.
That's...
Now, depending on how far away you are from Whismur.
That's true. It does dilute.
Yes, I believe it's every...
And how high you are, I think the temperature also changes it.
Every time you double, yes, pressure can also change it. Every single time you double your distance, you're subtracting 6 decibels from it.
Which is still a lot. I mean, that's how we can, hear an airplane, right?
Right.
And it doesn't sound like you're right up on it, of course. So I'm going to jump ahead. Hey, da da dun 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 da 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 da. We have a Loudred, and I don't want to hear it. at all.
You
I
don't.
would give it a zipper mouth. Actually, it's not just that. He's got these ear things that used to help him breathe. Weirdly, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And now there's speakers. Just.
Well, it's even funny how the Dex entry mentions how he builds up the energy to get just read some of the Dex entries.
I'm gonna start by reading Ruby again. Ruby giving us some wonderful ones right away. Loudred's bellowing can completely decimate a wood frame house. It uses its voice to punish its foes. Yeah. This Pokemon's round ears serve as loudspeakers. I love how it went from like really intense stuff to
loudspeakers.
Like really lame stuff. I'm gonna say one more thing before we talk about the actual science of what it was doing. There was another one in here that was pretty crazy.
The diamond.
Diamond. Yes. Okay. So Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum all say the shockwaves from its cries can tip over trucks. It stamps its feet to power up. Whatever.
Yeah.
So,
see, it stamps its feet to get the energy.
That actually sounds really cute. But so Kim, which one of those is more impressive? Tipping over a truck or completely decimating a wood frame house?
Completely decimating a wood frame house.
Yeah.
Think, a truck only has 4 points of contact on the ground anyway.
Also, it's just tipping the truck. So
It's just tipping it.
I mean, sure, that's impressive, but the thing is, it's not completely
Destroying a house.
No, a wood frame house. I mean, still, like,
So, we've already established Whismur is rupturing your eardrums.
Whismur is, yes.
So Loudred,
how much
to decimate a house has to be between 180, 185 decibels to completely destroy a house.
Yikes. And that's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
In his speaker ears, whatever.
Speaker ears.
So,
so your ears are ruptured.
Yes. Oh, your ears are ruptured. That's a given because this is just already a lot louder. And what now? So what else is gonna happen?
So that's what we're getting at. You're destroying houses. You're rupturing your eardrums.
No, hold on. You don't just stop that. If you can destroy a house, what happens to Loudred?
Okay.
You can't just do that.
I see.
He's okay. His bones are gonna break.
I almost looked into the physics of what would happen to them, but you told me to stop because I was going too in depth on this.
Well, we did a lot of this. We did a lot of. Oh my gosh, Kim went way overboard on this one. So if we we're looking as the trainer, right? Who's on the other side of Loudred, who is, let's say, within 5 feet of him. Okay. I would say because this is a wood frame house and it is decimated. We don't really know what decimated actually means on here, but I'm gonna assume it like completely destroyed and leveled it. This is just rubble now. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, your ears are, like I said, you're permanently deaf if you survive this, which I don't think you do. And all of your bones are gonna break because the difference is that wood structure house, those weren't hollow. Your bones are gone. I'm sorry.
Well, even at 170, that's when you're unable to breathe and you cannot see.
Okay, so what was Loudred again?
180 to 185.
Oh, so he just can't get to that point?
No, he's 180, 185.
Oh, he's 180, 170 is when you can't breathe. So you can't even breathe. That's just, oh, no. No. Hey, wait, Kim, can it get any worse?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait, no, this isn't happening to you because you didn't train your Loudred. So,
Makes me so sad.
You didn't know that? I turned the game on. I was like, oh, man, she loves this Pokemon. She didn't raise it all the way. All right, so anyway, now we're looking at the main Pokemon. We wanted to take care of those guys really quick because they're not going to get their own episode.
This gets all my research in the world's loudest things. I love this.
Yes, Kim's really excited because I don't know why you got this strange fascination the other day of like, oh, this is so loud, this would do this, and I'm like, whoa.
Like sound, you think it's so innocent, and then it kills you.
And then it kills things. Because it's really just reverberations through an atmosphere, which there were things so loud Kim was looking up that would...
Oh, I will tell them.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into it.
I will tell you.
Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of these from Exploud. Here's one of them that I think is really impressive, but it's kind of hard to put a number to. Exploud, this comes from Ruby. Exploud triggers earthquakes with the tremors it causes by bellowing. If this Pokemon violently inhales from the ports on its body, it's a sign that it's preparing to let loose a huge bellow.
I also just want to let stand that it does have ports coming out of its butt.
I wasn't sure if they were like megaphones or if like everything blows out at the same time. Does he just scream out of his mouth?
No, I think it blows out in all directions. So he has like a 360.
But in Emerald, it says it has sound-generating organs all over its body, but it communicates with others by adjusting the tone and volume of its cries it emits. Well, so do humans. That's what I'm doing right now. That's how you can understand what I'm...
You're not special!
Yeah, you're not special, Exploud. That's how you can understand what I'm saying over a podcast. And you're not watching my mouth, unless you're on YouTube and you're watching my mouth.
Watch my mouth.
Watch my mouth. Watch it. Watch my sultry lips move back and forth.
Read the one that is the most important.
Right. Okay, so how about this? I'm going to jump to Fire Red and Leaf Green. It emits a variety of sounds from the holes all over its body. Its loud cries can be heard from over 6 miles away. Now, hold on.
We can calculate this.
We can calculate that. So, just to put this in perspective, one really loud living thing noise, probably the most place where you started this was, we were like, okay, Kim, look up the howler monkey, right?
Howler monkey.
We gotta learn about the howler monkey if we can compare him to Exploud. So, Lynn, first off, we're kind of shelving the earthquake thing for later. We'll talk about the earthquake thing later.
So, howler monkeys, actually louder than Loudred.
Wow. They're, how loud?
188 decibels.
Okay, so that means if you were right next to, with no protection, right next to a howler monkey, and it screamed as loud as it could,
now,
you would go deaf?
I think now this number I believe was based on like the loudest howler monkey. Of course, they change depending on what the size of the organ is.
That's true.
On how loud a howler monkey
Still, that's rupturing your eardrums.
Yes.
And that's going to make you have a lot of trouble breathing for the duration of the time that it screams.
People live in urban areas with howler monkeys.
Okay, hold on. So, you're telling me that a howler monkey can knock down a house?
Okay, now think of the space that's coming out from its mouth. You know, you have to imagine Loudred is expanding the sound over a larger area.
I don't know how you can calculate that.
And then there is an air pressure formula to calculate how much air pressure it is based on the area that it's being emitted from.
Okay, it still sounds to me like they're way louder than that. But we'll keep going. Keep going.
So, howler monkeys, 188 decibels if you're right up on it, right?
Sure.
If you are still hearing a howler monkey, the farthest away you can be and still hear it is 3 miles away.
Okay. So if you're 3 miles away, then you can still hear the howler monkey, which, since Exploud is 6 miles away, it actually says over 6, but...
We'll go with the minimum.
we'll just call it 6, just to say safest, because then we can just multiply the howler monkey by 2. Right? Well, that was a big misconception. That led us down a horrible rabbit hole right away. Like Kim clarified earlier, if you want to make sound go farther, like double the distance, you don't double the decibels. Because I was doing something else while Kim was shouting some numbers at me, like, oh my gosh, if you double this, like, louder, like, gosh, what was it? It was some crazy stuff, like, it would have to wrap around the world, like, 8 million times over.
63 million
Yeah, like 63 million times. It would melt the planet. It would do all of it. Like, it was like,
That's not how it works. That's not how decibels work,
I was like,
guys.
what do you mean?
I know so much more about decibels than I ever even wanted to know.
Okay, so, anyway, how do you really double the distance?
So, if you double your distance, you add 6 decibels.
Only 6 decibels will double the distance.
That's it. So, that brings him to...
194?
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that. I didn't have to look at her notes. I know, Matt. I honestly didn't remember what the howler monkey was.
194, which actually isn't the loudest thing that we know of.
Well, okay, to be fair, hold on. This is based on one Dex entry, and I think the Earthquake one's way more impressive, but we can't put a safe number to it. Also, you can hear him over this, so he's louder than that.
So he can potentially be louder.
If he's louder than this, I would feel safe enough to round him up to 200. Is that safe?
It's still not the loudest things we've heard.
I know, but I want to round him up to 200.
Okay.
Because it's over this, and the Earthquake thing is coming later, and I'm telling you, he's got to be louder than that.
Well, yeah, it's going to feel like a tremor, because you're just going to die.
So what was the, going back to Whismer, because a jet engine is one of the loudest things that we would think of right now, right?
Right.
How loud was that?
150 decibels.
So a howler monkey is louder than that.
Yes.
That is crazy. So moving up from there, Kim, name some other super loud things.
Oh boy. So here are the super loud things I researched, which are actually louder than Exploud. I was very surprised.
Can I make sound effects?
Yes, go ahead. Okay,
all right. You gotta give me some.
All right, here. The volcano Krakatoa. That was significantly quieter than what Krakatoa did.
Actually, you have no idea because I got too close to the mic. It might have clipped for all I know.
So Krakatoa erupted in 1883. Thank you. 1883. And it was said that from people 40 miles away, their eardrums were ruptured.
40 miles away.
And Krakatoa was somewhere over in Indonesia. There's actually now an island that is forming from it.
Well, it is the island. I mean, that's how volcanoes work.
Right. It's called the child of Krakatoa. Anyway.
Well, yeah. They go kasploosh, and then they land, and then they're like, hey, I'm an island now. And then there's more magma underneath, and it's like, hey, I want to come out. And eventually it's like kasploosh, and the whole thing happens again.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
the
scientists say.
Of a volcano. Yeah.
That was a quote from totallyrealscience.net. Continue.
So, some people had calculated at 100 miles away from Krakatoa, it was at 172 decibels.
While it was that far away?
Yes.
Okay, so that means you can reverse it back to figure out what Krakatoa was.
Correct.
Okay.
Which this I just put into a calculator.
Okay,
online.
So how loud was... Okay, so this may or may not be accurate, but we're going to assume it is for the...
I put it into a calculator I had to trust.
We're talking about science of the Pokedex. Give us a break.
We are trying our best. Do not yell at me.
Go ahead.
So,
at least we're not saying
by putting it into the calculator, you had to add this many decibels to it, which made it 272 decibels.
Oh my gosh.
Krakatoa is known as the loudest sound.
The loudest sound that we know of that has ever happened on the planet.
Yes.
Yikes. 272. Now the thing is, that's so far right now 72 over what we're assuming Exploud's minimum is.
And we're saying his minimum is killing you.
Yes, because it says over. Over 6 could be like 50 miles. We don't know what over 6 miles means, because 100 is over 6. So basically, I'm assuming that one is just one that says, okay, it needs to at least be over this, but it needs to also be able to trigger earthquakes with the tremors that it creates by bellowing. Can you imagine that? It's actually just from sound, destroying tectonic plates.
Whismur is not an uncommon Pokemon in the game.
You know what's also scary is, you know where you find them?
In a cave.
In caves.
In a cave.
Also, in a cave, let me point this out, that they were trying to dig through and connect to the other side. Can you imagine them, like, digging through the other side?
How is it physically living in the cave? It starts crying and parts of the cave start shattering.
Because it had nothing to cry about in that cave, because it was happy in there. That was its happy place, and then humans came in and started digging in it, and then one little Whismur got a cut on its foot. Alright, anyway. So, what else do we have that's super loud?
So, the other loudest thing is man-made, which I think is exciting enough as it is.
This one was our fault.
So, it's the Saturn V rocket.
Saturn V.
That we used between...
Go on. Hey, come on, you're supposed to keep going.
That we used between 1967 and 1973.
Okay.
So, it's out of commission now. But this rocket was so loud, it was actually catching grass on fire around it and melting the metal. In order to keep the rocket cooled and not melt itself from the sound, they had to pour in, I think it was like 40,000 gallons a minute or something to keep it cooled off. So that way it would not catch itself on fire.
Right, like it's a huge misconception. Now that we're talking about space stuff, I know all this stuff. It's a huge misconception when you see all that what looks like smoke coming out when they're like launching a rocket. That's not smoke. That's steam. They're pouring water on it to make sure it doesn't melt because it's so freaking loud. So, hold on. You're telling me that,
I just like that the grass is lighting on fire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this is something potentially Loudry could go up to.
Loudry? Exploud. Exploud could potentially do that. Now, here's the thing. Now, because the earthquake thing, he probably could. Because did the Saturn V rocket trigger an earthquake? I don't think so. I bet you it's louder than that.
Never heard of that.
I've never heard of any rocket ever causing an earthquake. So, if that's the case, he's louder than that. But one thing that is happening here that's really interesting that we need to point out is, at that volume, you are starting to melt things. And I don't know if people even knew that happened, but...
That is so cool!
I didn't even know that was a thing until we were looking at this, but sound can melt things.
That's why I got so fascinated in this. I didn't know you could do this with sound.
It's just bizarre.
Grass
Okay, so...
is catching on fire.
Yes. From Scream. Can we make him fire type? Like if we had a mega...
Lola form Exploud.
A mega Exploud. Because he'd have to be louder, right? If we had a mega Exploud, fire type. Just fire type. But the biggest problem is, if it screams, it's killing itself. It's gonna catch on fire.
Right, it's gonna catch up.
Unless he was water type.
He's gonna break his bones.
His bones are gonna shatter.
His organs are gonna crush it.
His organs are gonna, like, just...
His eyeballs are gonna explode.
Well, he'll be blind anyway. It won't matter. Can he hear?
I don't know. Does Exploud have ears?
He has to hear. He has to hear your command. Unless every command is uproar. I mean, to be fair, as soon as you tell your Pokemon uproar, they just keep doing it until they die.
So they can't hear.
Whatever, they can't hear.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, what would a trainer physically need?
Oh, I know.
To actually be able to send this Pokemon out into battle, if it does its like maximum scream, even its minimum scream is
it's minimum
painful.
Yeah, you're right. We're talking about the minimum scream. The over 6 miles is the minimum he can do. We don't even know what its max is. Like, because there's, as far as we know, well, it's possible Krakatoa caused earthquakes, but how do you know if it was because of the sound, because there was an earthquake,
or magma
because
shifting.
It was a volcanic eruption? I mean, so it's kind of hard, like, I don't know how you really differentiate it, but so if Saturn V didn't do it, we know he at least goes above this, right?
Right.
So he at least is over 220 decibels. And if Krakatoa's sound didn't do it, which I wouldn't think so.
I feel like it would.
I feel like if it did, it would be because of the volcano. And okay, well, did those people experience tidal waves? That's way to know. I don't know if that happened.
I didn't look into.
Because if they experienced tidal waves, then that would be caused by tectonic plates, but how do you know if it was the sound or the...
I would assume so, but this is 1883. We don't have the best recording.
Right, and I don't know anything about
devices.
Sound affecting a tectonic plate.
Actually, I think one of the loudest sounds that you can get at water level because of the pressure, I think, is 194
decibels. Okay, so Krakatoa was able to get to that because it was so high elevated.
Right.
And Saturn V, was this recorded as it was higher up in the air? But no, this was because the grass on the ground, so that can't be right.
Yeah, that's just something I read. It depends on what your atmosphere is like, wind pressure, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay,
so,
maybe it's, I don't know, at this time, were they launching from Cape Canaveral, or was this somewhere else? I'm not sure where they were launching at that point.
I didn't even know that much, so...
Okay, well, whatever. But maybe based on where they're launching, the atmosphere and the temperature is just right for it to reverberate that much.
Right.
Because they do launch... typically around Florida anyway, so it's gonna be hot. And if it's hot, then maybe that has something to do with the sound carrying faster. Because
it wouldn't carry as fast.
I thought when it was hotter, it would carry faster. So it's colder.
It's when it's colder that's when sound carries faster.
Okay, so I don't know. You know, there's also they chill the rockets too, right? They they try and cover them in ice.
Yeah.
They're doing everything they can. So at that point, like maybe it's
why aren't they just using Machamp?
Well, I'm thinking because maybe right. Just oh gosh, the Machamp episode. But maybe because of the fact that they were covering it in ice, the rapid change from the cold to warm made a blast, and that blast of sound let it go over that, or your previous source is just bogus. We don't know, because all we're doing is just trying to figure out how you make an earthquake with noise.
Right. Well, okay, so another fun fact.
Sure, give us some more.
If sound could travel through space...
Which it can't. Sorry.
It would take...
Sorry, Star Wars fans, it can't.
1,100 decibels.
1,100 decibels.
To destroy the universe.
The entire universe.
Because we've calculated how much energy is in the universe.
Okay.
So you can
we do. We know exactly.
Use the calculation
to
determine how much energy created from sound it would take to destroy the universe.
Right. That's a... Okay. Okay. But that's a useless fact, though, because it's... And you can't prove it. How come I can't say it would take 2,000
But
decibels?
think how smart you'll sound if you say that.
No, you'll sound like an idiot. You know why?
No,
because it can't.
You'll make somebody sound like an idiot.
I will. Because the only way that would even mean anything is because you had enough mass and energy in one place where they can actually share an atmosphere. And if you, in the entire universe, everything in the entire universe was close enough to where they can share a single atmosphere so you could reverberate a sound. And you know what that's called? That's called a black hole. And if everything in the universe is in a black hole... we're not going to be around to be able to prove anything.
We can't calculate that.
We can't calculate that.
But
that's
what I was
eventually.
trying to get at a very long time ago.
Yes.
Before you just started talking.
I'm sorry, but you were mentioning some space facts that needed some immediate disproving. Go ahead. I had to snuff that little.
So you're thinking, oh my gosh, I need to put something over my ears. Or
right,
a
okay.
bodysuit.
So the trainer. The trainer sends out Exploud, and they say, Exploud, uproar! Exploud looks back, gives him a wink and a thumbs up, and he goes, and what happens to the trainer?
Well, they're dead.
They're dead. Okay, how are they dead? Now let's do this like a Pidgeot episode. Okay. How are they dead?
So first, their ears are rupturing. So
ears rupture, number one.
Okay, and then their ears are going to actually... Wait. No, okay, your ears are rupturing. Then you become unable to breathe, and you lose your vision.
You are blind during the duration of the scream.
Your ears rupture again.
Ow. Okay.
Oh, well, before your ears rupture a second time, your bones break.
Your bones shatter.
Your bones shatter.
All the hollow ones.
And your organs kind of get crushed.
Ow.
And... You're probably just going to be pushed away at this point if you can even stand in one
right,
spot.
I mean, remember, Loudred was knocking over a truck. I think you weigh less than a truck. I would also assume... Wait, which country is this broadcasting to? Oh, shoot. It's also possible that the integrity of your bones are a little less stable than that of a wooden house.
Correct.
And I would assume that the molecules holding you together are a little less strong than that holding tectonic plates together miles away from you.
So I was hoping, if we're ignoring the part of what it would physically do to your body, how could you be within range to at least hear it?
I feel like you would just, like, blow up.
Yeah, pretty much.
You would just, like, you'd be blown backwards. Probably, I don't know how far exactly, but you'd be blown backwards. You'd be like, you know, like ragdoll effects you get in a video game? You would look like that because your bones would no longer, you'd be a jelly person that would just like splash when you land. You'd be dead. Just aside from the fact that also you would be superheated, right? You'd be probably on fire. You'd be on fire because we're combustible.
Oh, okay, so we're it's getting painful. We're rupturing our eardrums.
Oh, no, pain. Forget about pain because we're already dead.
No. We're unable to breathe.
Okay.
And we're unable to see. And then your hair catches on fire and you go bald. And then your gin will catch on fire.
And everyone's going to laugh at you because you're bald now.
Oh, and you're also naked because your clothes caught on fire at the same time.
Ooh, you're naked.
And then you die.
Ooh, you're dead. And your opponent's dead. And Exploud's dead. And that was the end. And then credits roll. The end of Pokemon.
And you know what, though? I was like, okay, was there anything even you could wear on your ears to prevent the sound?
Right.
Even if you
she
could
was
protect
even
your
trying,
body?
like, okay, assuming I'm an Exploud trainer, I know what I'm getting into, what can I wear? Assuming that they were wearing, like, some really, like, heat-proof foundry equipment where they need to withstand thousands of degrees, at least they have that.
You're standing behind in something. You're in something.
So they're wearing, imagine, like, some steel thing that you need to wear. Now, what about your ears? Because I know that's what you're getting into.
Yes,
the sound.
Yes. So, one of the best headphone like
the best sound canceling headphones.
Sound canceling headphones you can get are active sound canceling headphones.
They're probably for military. I know there's a lot of great ones they have for military.
I'm not even too sure.
There's some really cool ones that they've made where it detects very quiet sounds and amplifies them for you, and then it detects loud sounds and makes them very quiet.
Those are very fun.
That's really cool.
It's really cool.
Because you can like whisper to somebody and then scream. It's like there's an explosion next to you and you didn't hear it. Yeah. Or well, you would hear it, but barely.
But like,
and not enough to damage your ears.
There was this big thing on the internet if you can finally just tune people out like completely.
Oh, I'd love that. That sounds great.
But anyway, the best headphones we can get are active noise canceling headphones, which are essentially replicating, feeding that sound back out to equal out the sound wave.
Trying to bounce the sound wave back out from your ear direction towards the origin of the sound in order to dilute it.
And that only subtracts 40 decibels from it.
That's a lot, though. That's impressive.
It is impressive. Don't get me wrong. But that's not...
Okay, if you're getting blown back and turned into a ragdoll of blood and fire, those headphones are not surviving. It destroyed a house. Do you think it's not going to destroy your headphones?
Well, I'm saying, if we're ignoring that, we have the headphones
if we're ignoring that.
underneath all of this.
So we're basically saying you can't train Exploud. Is that what we're getting? You cannot train Exploud. No. Because... this isn't like Pidgeot where we're saying Pidgeot cannot do this. If Exploud can do this, because that's what the deck says, you're gonna die. And everyone you fight is gonna die, their Pokemon are gonna die, and there's just gonna be a flaming crater where you tried to attack. Imagine him using Hyper Voice. It's just, I'm thinking of stronger.
Let's make it better, sure.
Let's make it better. It can get worse. Oh my. You know, use Safe Exploud. Whenever you have one, make him hold on to Pound and Body Slam and Growl. Keep it quiet.
Practice Safe Exploud.
Practice Safe Exploud.
Practice Safe Exploud training?
Why did it need...
I don't know. I need something after that. You can't just practice a Safe Exploud.
Practice Safe Explouds. I don't know.
What's that? That doesn't even make sense.
I don't know. You have anything else sound-wise for us?
No, but... Just
other than knowing that sounds can melt things, sounds can blow things away.
And the two loudest things we know of are a volcano and a rocket that we made. I mean, that's pretty impressive, guys. We made a rocket that was that loud.
Except that's not our goal.
Yeah, that was totally
that was really bad. The more there's a rule for making rockets, the more things that you add and the more things that you create, you're creating more potential problems. So clearly that was one. So they're going to need to figure out, or they have since then, found out ways to make it quieter. Because that's important. It's not for stealth or anything like that. It's so that the rocket doesn't explode. That would suck. There's people in there that have trained for years to go up in that thing. Or we're just sending robots and satellites and all that stuff. No, it's expensive as heck to get...
Expendable.
It's so expensive getting something just to achieve escape velocity. That's most of your energy, is getting off the planet.
Just go get a Machamp.
Or just get a Machamp. Just pay... Yeah, wouldn't it be so much better if you just pay your launch crew with a cheeseburger? You're like, hey, Machamp, we're kind of aiming... you see that big
direction?
See that white thing in the sky? We call that one the moon. Can you kind of chuck this bad boy... right there. Except by the time you did that, I would actually be aiming somewhere else, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to forget all that. I'm going to get too spacey in this one. This had nothing to do with space. In fact, space has nothing to do with it because space can't have sound traveling through it. Though photons can travel
through it. Don't you think I've yelled at Gundam enough times? Yeah,
Gundam and Star Wars, it's all wrong. So is there anything else you have about sound? We're finally over with... She researched for so long.
I was so excited.
It's all finally over. Is there anything else you want to mention about Exploud?
Exploud would need to get 100 decibels quieter to even be acceptably loud for
acceptably, as in, like, just radio. Splitting our... Oh, like...
No, a radio.
Just a radio that's way too loud. Just a radio. Ouch. Oh, gosh. I will never look at that Pokemon the same way again. I want to see him scream, and I want to see, like, a GIF somebody makes where... he and everything around him just erupts and blasts back in a crater. I think
that's actually what I calculated here. I think I have a random number on here. I think that's how many miles you have to be away.
You have to be at least 6 miles away from Exploud?
No, 117 miles away.
You have to be 117 miles away from... And that's assuming that's at his minimum. That was at his over
That's
6 miles.
minimum.
This is his minimum. You at the very least needs to be 117.96, so 118. Let's round that bad boy up.
118
118 miles away from Exploud at his minimum. Aside from the fact that he's creating earthquakes. Like, if you could do that, what are you melting? I don't know.
Oh,
It's
no,
just-
wait.
Well,
No, at 6 miles, you're hearing him at 117 decibels.
okay, thanks for clarifying.
I'm sorry.
That's why you need to
I
label
just have
your notes.
numbers written on here.
Okay.
That's on me, guys.
Everyone laugh at Kim. Make fun of Kim. Ha ha. Okay. It's
Ha
over.
ha! I figured out how decibels work.
Ha ha. Hey, I didn't know what I was talking about, so that's fair. Anyway, is there anything else we have before ending this episode?
Nope.
All right, cool. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to join us next time for some more game science. Be sure to follow us either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you all in the next episode of Pokedex Paradox.
Bye-bye.